listeners, it's me, Niamh again from Carolyn Coaching and also past Loretto student. I'm popping on again just to speak to you this time about still exams, but just how about it's okay not to be okay. It can feel, I think, sometimes like we need to have it all together during our exam times, like we need to have a solid plan, a solid direction, and sometimes that's just not the case. And I think it's time that we normalise not being okay in those times and not feeling at our best and feeling a bit lost. I know, like, for me, I really wasn't okay during my exams, or even for sixth year. I had a lot of anxiety going on, a lot of different things at play, and exams were quite a big struggle for me. And I suppose what I'd like to do is just share with you a bit of what I wish I'd known back then, that would have helped me. And so I'm going to start with the fact that for me, I'm quite a creative mind. So I love music, I love drama. I couldn't draw, but I like to think I could. And bottom line was, I just wasn't really academically minded and academically focused. So I found that I had to try really hard to actually get myself to sit down and try and absorb the information that was needed for the exams. And I think if I was doing it all over again, if I could give you some advice, what I'd like to say is, academia is one part of the rest of your life, and it doesn't mean that it has to be who you are, and it can make us feel a bit lost. But also break the academia down into bite-sized chunks. If you're finding it difficult to focus and study, try and make a plan so that you're doing bits of the study, but in bite-sized bits, so you're not trying to get it all done at once. It's important also not to leave it till last minute, as I was guilty of, because I used to try and absorb a whole chunk of information at once, and it actually just stressed me out a lot more. Don't immerse yourself in it. If you're not academically minded, and if you find you feel a lot better doing more creative or sporty things, then don't just throw yourself into academia and ignore everything that makes you happy. Make time for you and those things that you enjoy. I think that's really important, whereas I didn't really get that. I thought I had to give up everything that I enjoyed and focus on my exams, when actually, looking back, if I had have just made a bit more room for the things that made me feel like me, I think it would have been a much easier road. Now, the second thing that I wish I'd known back then, and it's something I've only learned in recent years, is the power of shifting your perspective. So when I was doing my exams, and I'm sure a lot of you find this now as well, is I focused so much on what could go wrong. So if I didn't do my best, if I didn't achieve what I was setting out to achieve, all the things that could go wrong were laid out in front of me, and I would focus on them, and I'd catastrophize, which is what I spoke about in the first video. That anxiety creeps in, and what it actually does is it makes the exam experience negative, and the feelings you associate with the exams become negative, and therefore it's naturally less motivating. So if I could go back and tell younger Niamh one thing, it would be to shift my perspective. So instead of focusing on all the things that could go wrong, I should have tried to focus on the opportunities that this experience would open up for me. So okay, I wasn't academically minded, but if I managed to get through this, and if I did okay, I could go off maybe and do a course in music, which is what I did, and those creative doors would then present themselves to me, and those things would have motivated me more and maybe made the exam experience more positive. I also think shifting your perspective in terms of doing your best is good enough. Instead of worrying that you weren't going to do well, try focusing on the fact that you're doing your best, and that is all that anyone can ask of you. Perspective is such a powerful thing. The thoughts that we allow into our minds are what shape our experiences, and being able to make little changes in how you do that, I think, could really help in this exam experience and the stress that you feel throughout the rest of the year. Now, this brings me on nicely to the final bit that I suppose I would have let young Niamh know as well, is that no matter what you do during this time, the world is full of opportunities. The world is huge, and outside of academia, there are millions, thousands, just unspeakable amounts of opportunity for people, for everyone. And I think during the Leaving Cert, we get so focused that this is the only path. And do not get me wrong, it's super important and it will open so many doors for you if you want it to. But I think it's just important to remember that no matter what, the world will open up opportunities for you. Should worst case scenario happen and things not go your way, that is not the end of it. Your life does not stop at the Leaving Cert. And I think if I could go back and tell myself that, you know, when I was comparing myself to others and looking at what everyone else was setting out to do in college, I was telling myself that if I didn't do well, I'd be, you know, not doing anything and I'd be sad. And that's not the case. It really isn't. And I just think that it's important to remember that when you're studying, that you can try your best and that is all anyone can ask of you. But no matter what, the world will open up to you once these exams are over. No matter your grade, no matter what's next, the opportunities are there. And I think that's something to get excited about. Just to remember that you are just starting on the next phase of your life, and that's exciting. But yeah, little Niamh would have really appreciated those messages when she was doing her exams. So I hope it helps you in some way. Yeah, and again, you're busy people, so I won't take up too much more of your time. But if you do need anything, please feel free to get in touch. My Instagram is Niamh Caroline Clarity, and I will leave all my details at the end of this video. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.